All sports talk shows are the same, right?
I am bothered by everything.
You gotta go back to football school.
The goal of this guy, it's just immeasurable.
Wrong. In a world filled with talking heads more interested in their own celebrity than actually knowing the sports world, it's hard to find the people who really care about sports first. Look no further. Wire to Wire has it all covered. These guys have the knowledge and the cred to back up their opinions. No hot takes to get attention, just straight up opinions. Know anyone else who correctly called the 2020 World Series and March Madness? How about 70% on the NFL and NCAA football last year? You don't. Bottom line, these guys know their shit. They aren't doing it for attention, they're doing it for passion. Wire to Wire, live every Wednesday, 8:30 Eastern, only on Toxic Radio and wherever you find podcasts. You know what all the cool kids are doing these days? Listening to podcasts. And what does Toxic Radio have? Podcasts, duh.
Just as I thought.
Go to toxicradio.net and check out our weekly schedule for the lineup of great shows. Miss any of them live? No worries.
Thank God, dude.
We're on all the top podcast platforms, or just find them at toxicradio.net or on the free app. The choice is yours. Be cool or not.
We're gonna be cool.
Toxic Radio. Get the podcasts and get infected. Hey guys, dating life going pretty shitty?
I find you so creepy, I think you should have to walk around with a bell around your neck.
Finding yourself getting a little desperate for some female companionship?
Alexa, tell me you love me.
Hell no. You disgust me.
What you need is to upgrade your style right now. The Toxic Store's got exactly what you need. Pick up some stylish gear featuring Deviant Gamer, Toxic Radio, and the Heavy Metal Happy Hour.
Oh, yeah!
You can find the store through the Toxic Radio app or toxicradio.net. Get in the game.
Do I make you horny, baby?
Get yourself a little love.
That guy's getting boobies. Yeah, he is.
Toxic Radio and the Toxic Store. Don't buy it safe. Buy it toxic.
What's up, Birds fans? It is time for Birds Deep. We got a lot to talk about this week. There's a lot going on in the city of brotherly love, Eagles, etc. And we're all tying together. I am the Godfrey, THEEGODFREY. And to my left, I got my man, Mean Gene.
Mean! Woo! Gene. I'm feeling pretty mean today. You got Ben Simmons coming back to Philadelphia tonight. I know this is an Eagles podcast, but I am feeling extra mean today.
I heard he picked up a new sponsor for the summertime.
What sponsor?
Mr. Softy Ice Cream. I don't know if you guys seen the trucks.
Oh,
yep.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's the guy that runs around. Mike, you know that song, right?
I'm kidding. I thought you were going to play it on the damn thing.
I wish I had it. Here, we'll try it. No.
Oh, my Lord. I was setting you up. I was giving you an alley-oop. You didn't dunk it.
Well, someone stole the damn auxiliary cord. I don't know where it's at.
I threw it underneath there last night because I was mad it was there.
Well, I guess fuck that, right?
It's an accurate statement. I'm not lying about
Fuck
this.
my cord. I can't reach it right now unless, Mike, you want to help. But anyway.
No, all you got to do is take the camera off me. I'll reach it for him.
Yeah.
I like to reach around for Godfrey.
I don't know what to say there. But with that being said, off camera, that's really not happening. Don't use your... Oh, there we go. Oh, very good. Teamwork makes the dream work.
That fucking hurt.
Yeah. A for effort. So, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to give you today, in lieu of Ben Simmons, our 5 most hated Eagles. Because Ben inspires a lot of hate and unites the city of Philadelphia universally, which is hard to do. There's only one thing that I've seen unite Philadelphia besides Ben Simmons, and that was winning a fucking Super Bowl. Literally. That's the only thing I've ever seen unite Philadelphia across the board. Remember that when the Eagles won the Super Bowl? Like, everybody loved each other.
Do I remember that?
Well, yeah.
Did you ask me that question?
He dreams about it every night.
I do.
So do I. I mean, it felt like it was never going to happen, right? But, yeah, tons to talk about. A lot of action in the Football League yesterday that was connected to the Birds, or we were hoping would be or wouldn't be, depending on who you are. Amari Cooper, that's going to be interesting. Maybe he could become an Eagle. I don't know.
Possibly.
Tons. So we're going to start off first with, I guess, we're going to bring everybody up to speed of what's been going on Quarterback-wise, Russell Wilson is now Denver Bronco. He was possibly one that could come to the Eagles.
I don't care where he went. I knew he was going somewhere. The thing that really just I needed to hear was that Howie Roseman and the Eagles made an offer for him. Because all offseason, it's Jalen's our guy, Jalen's our guy, Jalen's our guy. And they're peddling that bullshit. They're peddling it. Jalen's our guy.
Well, they got to keep his trade value up, so to speak.
I understand that, but when I heard that the Eagles made an offer for Russell Wilson and that Russell Wilson turned down coming here. Now, the debate would be, do you think he turned down coming here because it's the Eagles, or do you think he turned down coming here because, like, he didn't want to go to the East Coast?
I don't think he wanted to go to the East Coast, especially with he had a lot of say in it, obviously, because of his contract. He had no trade clause, correct?
Correct. He didn't waive it. He would
Redskins
not waive
offer first.
The Commanders.
The Commanders offered 3 first-rounders, correct?
Yes.
So obviously he had to say. I think he wanted to stay on the West Coast. I've been to the West Coast. I've stayed out there for a little bit, and it is when you make a lot of friends out there. The 3 hours makes a huge difference. I know that sounds crazy, and I just feel like he looked at the teams and he thought maybe the Broncos had the best setup long term. Although I would say his path to possibly getting to a Super Bowl would have been easier in NFC. But okay, enjoy that division out there, Russ.
I'll tell you what, though, the AFC is loaded.
I know,
loaded.
It's lopsided, like you've never seen.
I was doing it just in my head. Ready? So Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson. I think I'm missing one.
No.
That you would know if they were one.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen, AFC
We're talking
East,
about guys that
hold on, Josh Allen, AFC East, that's one. There's nobody else in the AFC East. AFC North is Lamar Jackson and Joe Burrow. That's 3. Nobody else in the AFC North. The South has Deshaun Watson, who's still technically there.
Might as well just say he's not there, right? He's not going to ever play.
And then the West has, you have Mahomes, Herbert, Russell Wilson, and Carr. Yeah. That's 8 quarterbacks in that division and in that conference, and one of them is not going to make the playoffs. Actually, you know what? 2 of them aren't going to make the playoffs because, somebody's got to win the AFC South.
Yeah, I think I'll be willing to bet money that the Raiders won't. I don't have any faith in Josh McDaniels, but that's just me. We'll see.
I'm with you, but could you walk into a worse situation?
Yeah,
I'm going to be the coach of the Raiders. I'm going to get Russell Wilson twice, Patrick Mahomes twice, and Justin Herbert twice.
He turned down the Colts for the Raiders. Okay.
I don't know, man. Would you rather go against Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Justin Herbert, or Trevor Lawrence, Davis Mills, and Ryan Tannehill? You can kind of, I don't know.
Yeah. Jim Irsay is kind of low-key crazy, too, though, so maybe that has something to do with it. But so is Mark Davis. That haircut is still the worst haircut I've ever seen in the history of humankind. The Mark Davis haircut.
Oh, my God. I actually thought it was a prank. Like, it was a joke.
You thought it was a bad toupee?
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
You have all that money. You can get constructive surgery. I'd be like, listen, I don't want to make fun of anybody's appearance, but how can he not? Does nobody tell him, like,
he's uglier than Tyrone Hill, bro?
Is his wife like, listen, honey?
His wife doesn't care what he looks like. He's Mark Davis. He owns the Raiders.
It's true, but he looks like a can of soup. The haircut's unbelievable.
Where do you put Denver? Just before we get off that, but where do you put them in the AFC West?
I'm gonna probably get some heat for this, but I think I don't know, man. It's hard with a first-year head coach to really gauge that. Russell Wilson obviously upgrades the offense.
Jerry Jeudy, you got Cortland Sutton.
It's really hard. The talent's there, and
Javonte Williams.
Yeah, the talent's there.
The defense.
I think they got a shot to be a wild card team. And listen,
they're the 3rd best team in the division.
Listen, the Chargers.
They're not better than the Chargers.
Right. Well, especially after the trade just happened.
And they're not better than the Chiefs.
The Chargers just upgraded their defense, and they need some help with stopping the run, which Khalil Mack is pretty good at too, right? So they were awful on that. If the Chargers go defense in the draft, then they're going to be pretty good. But at the same time, man, I feel like the Chiefs could be knocked off. I really do by one of those 2 teams. I don't think it's going to happen. I just feel like the Chargers were in position and they just fucking blew it. They blew it. They could have beat them. They could have swept them this year.
You're spitting big facts right now, bro. You need to slow down with the facts. I agree with you 100%, though.
Yeah, I mean, they blew
I just
it.
think, all right, so let me go back to the Eagles for a minute. Russell Wilson didn't want to come to Philadelphia. Why would you want to come to Philadelphia? All right, so let's examine the Philadelphia situation versus the Denver situation, right? Denver, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Javonte Williams. Philadelphia, Devontae Smith, Quez Watkins, Miles Sanders.
I mean, yeah, it's Denver.
Okay. Who's got a better defense?
I'm not even going to go down to players. It's Denver.
Okay,
I'm not even going to.
So, why I wouldn't waive my no trade clause to go there anyway?
Yeah. I mean, he wants to win, obviously, and I think he looks at that team and thinks there was that. I knew once Denver re-signed Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton last year, they're going after a quarterback. I don't know who it was, but you're not going to commit to receiver money like that and not do it. I'm not surprised he didn't want to come to the East Coast. I'm not. I mean, it doesn't make any sense for him to do that, and at that point in his career, I think he wants to be protected. I mean, Denver has a pretty decent O-line, better than Washington, that's for sure. The Eagles, he would have had a good O-line, but yeah, I agree. If you're looking at the talent, I don't know, man. It's there's a lot going in there, but I felt like he never wanted to leave the West Coast, in my opinion.
Do you think any of that had to do with Ciara?
Is she from the West Coast?
She is from the West Coast. She's
Probably.
Hollywood celebrity.
Probably. Absolutely. I mean, it's a lot shorter of a jet ride from Denver. A lot shorter of a private jet ride from Denver to LA than from Philly to LA. So
yeah, no, 100%.
So that definitely factored into it. It had to have. I mean, he's already won a Super Bowl ring. Now, I know people in Philly want to think like everybody should fall in love with the city. I get it, but I'm not surprised he didn't end up here.
Okay, so next topic.
So, Deshaun?
I want to go to Sean.
Yeah. I mean, I think the Eagles should go in all in for him. I mean, the problem.
What's all in? 4 first rounders. I
thought 3 first rounders would be all in, but
okay.
Or maybe if they could get away with 2 first rounders, second rounder, and Jalen Hurts.
I sold.
I mean,
a 26-year-old franchise quarterback.
So is he? Yeah, it doesn't matter. And $34 million is the number every year for him, but he's pretty cheap.
I don't care how many handies he got.
Yeah. Well, the thing is you're not going to really know that's not going to materialize until the case gets presented, right? It's going to happen a week from now.
Yeah, it's going soon. But I don't care how many hand jobs the guy got. He's a franchise quarterback. I want him.
I mean,
he didn't murder anyone.
Well, we'll see what comes out in the trial.
That's the standard.
You never know. Yeah, he didn't murder anyone. It's true.
He didn't murder anyone. He's fine.
Long as
he didn't kill a dog either.
Long as nothing was done against the other person's will, that's a whole different story.
You're right.
And if that happened,
I'm fucking around a little bit. Slow down a little bit.
But if that happened, you would think there'd have been charges already. I mean, that's what I'm perplexed about the whole situation with.
It's a money grab.
So, I think he would fit well here with the Eagles. I think that is the type of quarterback you need in today's NFL, where you have some mobility and can throw the ball. I mean,
You're
that's
spitting big facts.
So
again, brother.
I mean, I would be very happy with him. I had someone say to me today, because do we have anything more to say about Deshaun?
No. I want him. I just think it's very telling that Howie Roseman tried to get a quarterback last year, tried to get a quarterback this year. They don't believe in Jalen Hurts. That's the whole point of the conversation. I
think he drafted Jalen Hurts for a couple reasons. Now the dust is settled. One, he wanted someone that was better than a Josh McCown backing, Wentz up if he got hurt, because it's happened, especially in the playoffs. Two, he thought, okay, maybe we'll take on a project. He drafted him way earlier than he should have.
Yeah, 100%.
Granted, but with that being said, I don't think they drafted him thinking this is our future franchise QB. So.
I mean, I don't know why you waste second-round draft picks on players you don't think will contribute to your team long-term that way.
Yeah. If he comes out guns a-blazing and different, great.
What's going to be different? He still has no arm strength.
I don't think it's going to be different.
That's what it is.
Yeah. So I had someone say to me today, which brings us into Carson Wentz. He's like, you'll watch. Carson Wentz is going to do well on the Redskins. I'm like, dude.
He's now an enemy.
He's what?
He's now an enemy.
He's not an enemy?
No, he is now an enemy.
Oh, yeah. Well, here's the thing. So last year you go into the season, you're like, okay, got a good running back. We didn't know Jonathan Taylor was going to have that type of season, but he did. Good offensive line, arguably top 5 offensive line, maybe better. Good defense, better than the Eagles' defense. And he got the coach that he has worked well with, and none of it worked out. there's something there. I think maybe it's head. I think he's lost a step because of injuries. And, pro football's a rough sport. And I don't see it going well for him being with the Redskins because who's the offensive coordinator there?
I don't know.
And it's,
Ron Rivera is their coach.
Yeah, so.
Let's look up their offensive coordinator.
Riverboat Ron.
I'll look it up right now.
He'll be passing to the Eagles again, Carson Wentz.
I feel like I know this, though. I feel like I've heard
this Scott
recently.
Linehan or some shit like that?
I'll tell you in 10 seconds.
And he was the number 2 choice because they wanted Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
Scott Turner.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, I mean, they got a good running back. They got a good receiver. But we'll see.
They got 2 good receivers.
Yeah, I don't know if he's there because one thing that he does have trouble with, not as bad as Jalen Hurts, but he does have trouble leading the ball sometimes to receivers. The yards after the catch number for his receivers aren't that great, but better throw than Jalen Hurts overall.
Is he an upgrade over Taylor Heineke, though? The answer is yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Washington football team will probably be better this year than they were last year. So he's going to make them good enough to be competitive, but not good enough to win when it matters.
Sounds about right.
That's exactly what's going to happen.
Or if the thing about him, though, that he doesn't do, that it doesn't seem like he's embracing, is Carson, go out there if you have a good defense and don't make stupid plays.
I think the thing that he doesn't do is win or score in crunch time. I think he grabs the ball a little bit too tight. I think he plays fine in the whole game. Mm-hmm. And then if the game is on the line, he has to make a game-winning drive. I think he grabs the ball a little bit too tight.
Yeah.
You've seen it in the Titans game. You've seen it in the Raiders game. You've seen it in the Rams game. You've seen it in the Seahawks game.
He still tries to play hero ball, too, sometimes. And you're like, and I think if he played within a system and was more efficient and took what the defense gave him, he could be a better quarterback. But he hasn't shown the ability to do that. I just haven't seen that from him.
Yeah, that's fair.
And with a running game like they had, it was set up for him to do that.
And him being on a Washington football team or the Washington Commanders, I have to hate him.
Yeah.
I can't like him now. There's no way.
I just want to call him the Washington Potatoes still because I'm just mad with
That's a terrible team name.
So
we never really gave that its full, that's an awful team name.
The Commanders?
Yeah, all right, so, Daniel Snyder's obviously one of the richest owners in football. And him being the richest owner in football, one of the things they said that the issues with Red was copyright infringements and Red Wolves and Red Tails. Bro, Red Wolves would have been the perfect name.
Yeah.
Because they could have been the Wolf Pack, the fan base. But they didn't want to pay for the rights of that. They're the second or third richest football franchise in America. They have a dog shit stadium they haven't upgraded since the Stone Age. Like the Flintstones were playing in that stadium.
There's just an awful organization. They're a bitter organization. They don't have to do certain things they've done. And it just, I don't think Daniel Snyder, he has a chance of being pushed out in the next couple of years, in my opinion, by the owners.
How do you get pushed out? He's the owner.
Well,
there's not an owner's group.
What happened to Donald Sterling?
Bro, so the NFL is a lot different than this. We talked about this yesterday, actually. The NFL is a lot different than this. So I'm telling you right now when I say this, and you might think I'm nuts, but the NFL owners make Donald Sterling look like a civil rights activist. They do. They're all shitty people. Irsay, Jerry Jones, Daniel Snyder. There's hundreds of them. The owner of the Carolina Panthers. Forget his name. They're all terrible people.
Yeah.
Robert Kraft gets looked at like a good person. He's getting hand jobs in a Florida gas station.
Well, listen, if Deshaun could get
went to
hand
a goddamn
jobs,
wishy-wash.
and
he didn't get anything, but Deshaun's getting suspended forever.
So let me
Black quarterback suspended forever, going to jail. Owner of the Patriots getting illegal wishy-washes in Florida. He's the owner.
Or her hand might
Jerry Jones is a kid.
Oh yeah,
sure about this?
He's getting sued.
He's a kid.
He's getting sued for an agreement to conceal that was his daughter, right?
Yes. Must not have paid them enough.
Well,
she was 1 year old when they signed the NDA. She's like, screw this. I'm not staying quiet anymore.
They didn't make her sign it. They made her mom sign it.
Yeah, I know.
So, I wonder if Jerry tried to pay her off.
Probably.
Why not take the money?
Then they're going to get the VP with the sexual harassment charges. Like constantly.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, the guy who's the Panthers owner, wasn't there a guy that was in there before him that he got pushed out.
Yes, he got pushed out. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
So
the one who's talking about Cam Newton's hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my point is it can happen. The sexual harassment allegations are getting so bad with the Washington football team or the Commanders that it could happen. They're saying I've heard rumors of it.
I don't believe it. I think they're all friends, and they all control the owner. They control the owner. The owner works for the owners. I'm sorry, the commissioner works for the owners. Roger Goodell works for the owners. Stephen Ross, another one, piece of shit, in Miami. There's so many awful human beings that own football teams. Like, it's literally disgusting.
Well, I mean, listen, this is America. If you got a lot of money, you can do a lot, get away with a lot of shit. It's the truth. No one wants to.
Brad Huber's hilarious. Kraft got us 6 titles. I'll give him Andy for that. Great call, Sarah. Great call.
Well, he's a Pats fan, so I mean, and before
okay.
before that, it was horrible to be a Pats fan. You know,
I respect that though. Like, my point being is,
Brad,
like,
would it be with eye contact?
Like, if you were looking at all I'm all for ownership groups, because in ownership groups, a single owner can't behave like a child. Like, do you remember Jim Irsay, the drunk driving and
pills? Yeah,
yeah, like all that stuff, and nothing happened. He owns a football team. Who cares? Nothing matters.
Yeah.
What, he couldn't go to the stadium for 2 games? Is that what the suspension was?
Something stupid.
Like, it's a Bud Davis from the Tennessee Titans or the Houston Oilers, whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I know you're talking about.
Like, what are we doing? These are all awful human beings.
But they got the money to bankroll them.
So what?
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying that's the reality.
Boycott that until they all sell the goddamn teams.
It's going to be tough for getting
I
me to
know,
boycott
I get
football.
it. I get it. I'm sorry. I hate, like, getting into this conversation because they're awful people. Like, the devil is in almost every one of them.
Yeah.
I don't even think Jeffrey Lurie is that good of a human being, if we're being honest. At least he has a couple foundations, and he hasn't done enough for me to really, like, hate him. But my point being is,
listen, that's like a father to me. You don't talk about it. I'm just joking. He brought the title, the most important title of Philadelphia history.
Did he?
No, not really, but he was part of it. I mean, listen, it definitely was a culture change when he came, though. I mean, the Eagles before that.
Yeah, because they bought it from Norman Brayman.
Used car salesman.
like it's an upgrade from Norman Brayman. Yeah, you're right.
After working in used cars and thinking about Norman Brayman being a used car salesman, I'm like, wow, I can't believe he owned the Eagles. It's just mind-blowing to me.
That was terrible. He was worse than anybody.
Yeah, Reggie White, we don't need you. Get the fuck out of here. Go to Green Bay. Yeah, okay. Great job. So, speaking of the NFC East still, there's been some disparaging remarks by Amari Cooper.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is not what... First of all, Amari Cooper shouldn't say shit like this.
Hey, it was probably a heated moment. Now, what I saw the comment, but what was the context of it or the setting? Was it the playoff loss?
I think it was after the playoffs. They got in an argument before a playoff game, and he called him the Black Kirk Cousins.
I guess Kirk Cousins is that's like the insult now.
Well, Kirk Cousins is the average quarterback that is in the NFL that essentially just can't win you that many big games, but won't lose you games. Like, he's in the NFL, he's getting paid, but he's not like a franchise like winner. He's not like a Rodgers, Herbert, Mahomes.
Yeah, you like that? You like that?
I'll never forget that. That was so funny.
So the thing about Dak is, I feel like as far as his skill goes, that's pretty much an accurate description of him, is it not? I mean, he's not winning you the big game. I mean, I know a lot of people are super high on Dak because he started off the season strong, but I think he's lost a step though after that ankle injury. I mean, how could you not?
Look, major points are made here. The most overrated players in all of sports are players that play for teams that are very polarized.
Yankees.
The Giants, the Yankees, the Cowboys.
Right, they get Yep.
They get the most overrated overall players on their team, like, because so much national media is on them, and every time they do something well, it's all like, no matter what, the Cowboys are one of the conversations on ESPN, like First Take or Skip Bayless's dumb show he has. Like, they're always a conversation piece. So he gets constantly overrated. When they win 12 games in a regular season, or they have one of the top offenses in football, it's easy to overrate him.
Yeah.
But
I
think he's 1-3 in the playoffs now.
Yeah, and plus he has a problem, and this might have been what Amari Cooper had. I don't know if he can cover the whole route tree Amari Cooper can run. Amari Cooper's, listen, not the best. He's a good receiver, okay? And he's probably like, okay, what's going on here? When you have to play from behind or it's a close game like that and the D-line's getting in your mouth, guess
In your
what?
mouth?
Yeah, in your mouth. They were rushing.
D-line's getting in his mouth?
Literally, Joey Bosa lived in his mouth. I mean,
Jeez, you just said the D was getting in his mouth. I just
the D-line.
Okay.
Not the D.
Got it.
But, I mean, the D did get after him.
I think my aunt's listening to this podcast. I'm sorry, Joy.
The D did get after him, though. And he shrinks, it seems, when he has to either play from behind or it's just a ferocious pass rush. And a lot of quarterbacks do when there is a good pass rush. Bosa is a game wrecker. So I want to not just say that's only Dak there. But outside of that game, when he gets down by like 14 points and the defense knows you have to pass, it's a problem for him. It's the truth. I mean, they have the receiver talent on that team. Do they not?
On the Cowboys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Put a Russell Wilson on there. Put another quarterback. Put a Deshaun Watson on there. They'd be fucking shredding the ball.
Bro, if I was the Cowboys GM, I would have the easiest job ever. I'd cut Zeke. I'd cut Amari Cooper. And Tony Pollard would be my lead back. I don't want to get into them. The Cowboys suck.
Yeah.
I just think it's funny that Amari Cooper said comments like that about Dak Prescott.
And he's going to be a free agent. So the question is, would you want Amari Cooper on the Eagles?
Oh, he's not going to come here for the money that we can afford to pay.
Right.
Is that the way I can answer that question?
I think it would be a waste of a sign right now with our current setup. I don't know if we could take advantage of his skill.
Hackney, are you saying that Cooper is good, or are you saying that Dak is a little better than good? It's like I have Dak Prescott ranked as like the 11th or 12th best quarterback in football. I don't think he's top 10. I don't think he's bottom 10. I think he's 11, 12. I think
Slightly above average.
Yeah, slightly above average.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's fair to say.
I don't know if he's saying that he thinks that Dak is good or does he think that Cooper is good.
I think Cooper got better, actually. I think, remember when he was on the Raiders, he had hands of stone for a little bit, and part of the reason why he got traded is he needed a change of scenery, which, I mean, I guess a lot of people do from Oakland, but.
I mean, it's not good when a receiver. See, when we get into most hated Eagles, we'll talk about how the diva position of the wide receiver. I have plenty of them.
Oh, yeah.
It's the position that gets most vilified. It's the most diva position. The complainers, the crybabies, that's just the wide receivers.
But sometimes it's justified, though.
Yeah, so personally, I think T.O.'s was justified. And most people will call me nuts for saying that. Donovan McNabb was a shitty teammate. He almost made my list.
Yeah.
I thought T.O.'s was justified. Donovan McNabb went out publicly and publicly lauded for Brian Westbrook to get a contract. Terrell Owens kills it, gives McNabb his best season ever, wants a renegotiation on his contract or more guaranteed money. And McNabb's like, nah, bro, that's your business. You figure that out.
I'm going to toe the company line. And you know why I think that was?
Yeah, but he did it for Westbrook. Listen, if he toes the company line for everyone, don't be a hypocrite.
I know what that was. That was because McNabb was jealous about how the fans took the T.O. right away.
100%.
And I could tell you
it's 100% what it was.
The night before the Super Bowl, I was in the middle of Old City and 2nd and Chestnut, and we shut the street down, jumping up and down, saying T.O., T.O., T.O. And, T.O. took the city by storm when he got here in that first year. Because Philly loves a guy like that that can back it up and show it on the field. And he was an instant hit, and it pissed Donovan off because Donovan has never had that relationship with the fans. I think some fans in Philly don't give him enough credit. Yeah. And I think some fans, a lot of fans don't give him enough credit, to be honest.
Oh, Donovan?
Yeah.
I don't know if they don't give him enough credit. I think he digs his own hole.
He doesn't handle it well, yeah.
No, I feel like that when you're a me guy and you're a crybaby and you need the attention on you and you want to always just, I don't know, just be an asshole, people aren't going to like you.
Listen, I remember.
I think he's got a personality defect.
I remember being at a nightclub in Philadelphia, Z-Bar. It's next to Delilah's. I saw Donovan McNabb
You
there.
have to tell me where the Z-Bar is.
Yeah, I don't know. Some people don't know. But so there, McNabb's there. I saw McNabb. I'm like, oh yeah. There's not a whole lot of people around him. A little bit early, right? Now, maybe I don't know. Years later, I saw Ryan Howard there. Everybody wanted to be around Ryan Howard. Everybody loved Rhino. Everybody. It was like the president was there. McNabb was there. They were like, oh, fuck it. Hugh Douglas, I saw there one time. Everybody was, hey, Hugh, what's up? What's up, Hugh? Everybody's talking to Hugh Douglas. I just don't think he had that type of personality that just drive to Philadelphia. We'll appreciate him more as years go on, but I agree with you on that.
I won't.
No?
No, what did Brad say?
Brad.
Owens played with a shattered ankle. McNabb couldn't stop puking all over the field. Yeah, okay, and your team cheated and spied on our plays. Like, you're not going to tell me that the Patriots didn't cheat in that Super Bowl.
Yeah, well.
Like, when a U.S. senator, I get it, he was from Pennsylvania, but when a U.S. senator puts forth a deposition that has proof that your team cheated in the Super Bowl and stole plays, bro, I don't want to hear that. Don't talk. I don't want. You're not allowed to talk about that Super Bowl. You can talk about anything else. You can't talk about that Super Bowl on the show. Love you, Brad.
So, yeah, that was a tough one, man. That was a tough one to swallow. But we didn't know that at the time. But even still, he still shouldn't have. I mean, the throwing up thing was, he denied it, right? Didn't he deny it? And we all saw it. McNabb denied throwing up.
Yeah, everyone's seen it.
And you're like, why is he denying? Like, it's like, did we not see it?
He's a bad person. I don't like him either.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's always been fractured since the Dirty 30 was booing the pick at 1999 and didn't take Ricky Williams. And it was dead from that day on. But I think he got drafted by the right coach because I think Andy Reid turned him into a better quarterback. Although Andy wanted to be cute and say, hey, I know you're good at throwing a deep ball, but we're going to have you throw short passes. That's a whole nother story.
A worm killer?
Yeah, I mean, that's why when T.O. got there, they blasted off. That was his best season ever because there's a guy that could take it to the house.
Oh, yeah.
T.O. did a real good job of playing with a lot of crap quarterbacks, and I'm not saying that to McNabb over his career. I mean, if you look at some of his seasons, not even if he had on Buffalo, it was like Fitzpatrick was all right. Garcia wasn't that great, but he still did good. Showed up every time. And he wasn't calling anybody Kirk Cousins at the end of the game.
The black Kirk Cousins. What an asshole.
I saw it last night. I laughed my ass off. I'm not going to lie. I was like, wow. Didn't expect that one. That's 95% of the reason why they're not going to sign him. And he's not. And Jerry Jones didn't draft him either. So
before we get into our most hated Eagle, can we do guess the Eagle again?
Sure. You want to pick a random Eagle? I mean, I got a list of a ton of them.
Okay.
All right, so I'm going to give you the school he went to. I could give you anything, right?
Yeah, you got to know. You don't have to give me anything. I'll ask you questions. You need to know the answers for it. So you need to know what school he went to, what position he played.
Okay.
Whatever. Is that fair?
Yeah, I got it. I'm ready.
All right, I'm going to set the timer. Give me 1 second. I give myself 30 seconds to get it. And ready?
Yep.
Go. At 90s player.
Yes, a 90s player.
Late 90s.
Mid 90s.
Only one team. Only played for the Eagles.
No, he played for multiple
Offensive player.
Defense.
You didn't say that. Defensive line.
No.
Secondary.
No.
Linebacker.
Yes.
Trot.
No. Remember, I said mid 90s.
That's fair. Mid 90s linebacker. That's tough. Was he a Pro Bowler?
Yes.
Okay, so he's good.
Yes.
Clyde Simmons.
Nope. Linebacker.
I know. Done. Stop. I get one more guess. I think I'm gonna get it on this last guess though. It's I think it's the guy William Thomas. Was it William Thomas or William Fuller? No, William Thomas.
That would be incorrect. That was a linebacker and kind of from the same era.
Who was it?
Bill Romanowski.
Oh God, I would never guess that.
Yeah, it's
Great call.
Yeah, I mean,
I try to forget about him being an Eagle. I just really do.
He almost made my list.
It's a solid pick. Yeah. Now I'm one for two now. Next week I'll go for 2 for 3.
No, you're 1 for 1. Or no, 1 out of 2.
Yeah, 1 out of 2.
Yeah, 50%. That's a tough one though. I mean, he played for 2 years, but he made the Pro Bowl, and he was also part of that team that had the infamous. They did it. They did it again. 4th and 1.
Stuffed him again.
Yeah. Yep, that's the one.
1996.
3rd round pick. Multiple Pro Bowl. He was a dirty player. I mean,
dirty player.
If you ever see the interview with him and he admits it all, it's astounding. They had him on 60 Minutes. But anyway,
what else we got before we get into the worst Eagle?
Worst Eagles. We're running through it.
All right, let's go to worst Eagle. We'll take our time with this anyway.
Okay. And this is inspired by
Ben
Simmons, who tonight is returning to Philadelphia. He's not playing because he's a biggity bitch. And I knew he wasn't going to play. Listen, anybody that's going, I get it. But I was never going to try to buy a ticket for this reason. I knew he wasn't playing, but I guess it's going to be a spectacle, and he's there. And do you think he's not playing because they don't want him to play, or he's actually hurt?
He'll be playing next week.
Yeah.
He was my You Gotta Be Kidding Me yesterday on Wire to Wire. I think that Ben Simmons and Rich Ball, what they're doing right now is slimy, disgusting. If you're wondering why the show's on from 6 to 7 this week, and you're used to listening and taking it deep with D. Godfrey, it's because I'm an asshole. I'll tell Godfrey this right now. But I said I can't do the show. I cannot do the show during this game. I just can't. I have to. I hate this man so much. I need to see it. I need to be there. I need to watch it. So I need to, I have to be there. So I'm going to.
I wasn't going to make it a focal point, but now I am. I'm just going to join the party. Fuck it. And watch him.
I hate it. I hate him. And
he's just not playing, which is like.
Yo, so the worst part is this, ready? 2 nights ago, they played at Charlotte on the road. Do you think Ben Simmons was there with the team?
No.
Nope. 4 nights ago, they played at Boston on the road. Do you think Ben Simmons was there with the team?
Nope.
Why do you think he's just coming to Philadelphia?
Might be trying to build a case file for something.
They filed a grievance 2 days ago. And the reports have come out that they're trying to get the Philadelphia fans to do something to help them in which their grievance. So they're sending him out there to sit him on the bench so a Philadelphia fan could throw a bottle at him, try to fight him, and they could be like, see, this is why you had to sit out for mental illness. Yeah. And it's like he's antagonizing the fans, essentially.
It's building up a rivalry, though, because then KD's like, well, they have shitty lives. That's why I feel like that. I saw him, and I was like, fuck you, KD. And I'm like, now I want to see
Bro,
let's get their ass beat.
KD's 6'10" and can play basketball. And I wish I was born 6'10", not athletic, and play basketball, so I could talk about everybody else's life. Screw you, you jerk off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'm not 6'10" and athletic like you are, bro. You're right. I have a shitty life because I watch sports. You wouldn't be an athlete making the money you make if I didn't watch sports. If people that have no lives like us didn't watch you play basketball. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I
hate people like him. I really do.
So the thing about this,
I'm especially mean today right now.
Yeah, but that pissed me off too. Like that pissed me off. I don't like KD for that, and I've never been a KD hater. Some people are, but that shit really fucking went up my ass because it's so pompous and arrogant.
Bro, you have to stop doing that.
Well, it's not literal, figuratively speaking.
I just can't keep it together.
It's all right. You'll be okay. You'll be all right.
That shit literally went up my... Oh, my God. All right, let's get into Most Hated Eagles.
Before we get into Most Hated Eagle, I want to bring up one guy that didn't make my list, but he could have made the list.
I have an honorable mention.
Jalen Reagor.
Okay.
The reason I want to bring him up is I saw a bunch of tweets after the Calvin Ridley suspension, and it went like this. Yo, Jalen Reagor walked up to me and handed me an envelope of cash and said, Colts money line. I'm not even a bookie. I was just wearing a tracksuit at the NFL. Then people are like, heard that Jalen Reagor is betting too. Damn, such a shame. Check his phone. I heard he, so that's like Eagles fans saying Jalen Reagor needs to, he was betting too. You need to look into
remember when
this
Josh
NFL.
Huff was caught with the gun?
Yeah.
They said Nelson Aguilar planted it.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Oh man.
The baby drop.
All right, so let's get into this list. Do you have an honorable mention?
I was going to do them at the end, but I do have a couple honorable mentions. But
we'll do the honorable mentions first. We'll do 5 to 1 like we always do.
So I have an honorable mention, and I'm going to tie this into Ben Simmons because I think that people were saying this, and I think they're wrong. They were saying, oh, Ben and Wentz are on the same level. They're not. Wentz helped you get to a Super Bowl, and the difference between Wentz and Simmons, boiling down, is he was man enough to say, I want to leave, and not fake some shit. He said, I want to go. He went out. Okay. He went out. He didn't have to fake anything. He said, I went out. That was that. Simmons is like, I have mental health issues. So they're not the same, and we'll appreciate that season from him more later on. I know things are fresh with the trade just coming out, but Ben Simmons and Carson Wentz aren't on the same level.
Yeah,
not a
close one.
Leads me into the honorable mention of Carson Wentz. He didn't make the list, but we thought about just because of the way things have gone down and it's fresh, but he didn't make the list because, he wasn't outwardly defiant. so to speak. It was.
He helped our team win a Super Bowl.
Did help team to win a Super Bowl. So you got to
like. I want to put Alshon on the list too, but I didn't because of that reason.
Had a hell of a Super Bowl.
Yeah, facts.
And T.O. was my honorable mention too.
You're wrong on that one.
So he's on your list. Okay.
No, he's not on my list.
Well, I don't hate him. So I'm just talking about the way he left. I wanted T.O. to stay, and I definitely wasn't one of those guys who were like, "Oh, you should respect his contract." I was like, "Get out of here with that shit."
Bro, it was McNabb.
Yeah,
it's all McNabb.
I don't disagree. We could have had they could have had at least one more run at the Super Bowl if T.O. stayed.
My honorable mention is FredEx, Freddie Mitchell, the 26th pick out of UCLA.
Fucking horrible pick. Chad Johnson and fucking
the guy
Reggie
was Johnny on the spot, caught 2 touchdown passes in the Minnesota Viking games, one being off a tip ball in the playoff game. Gets in the news conference, in the press conference, instead of saying like, my team helped me, like he's been terrible, a bust of a first round pick.
Mm-hmm.
Gets in their press conference and they're like, like what do you attribute? Like a great game, you're stepping up with T.O. out. He goes, first of all and foremost, I'd like to thank my hands. Without them, none of this would be possible. The guy walked around Philadelphia wearing a mink jacket constantly. Like, the guy was a complete asshole.
Loved Old City. I remember that time.
He has 2 really memorable catches, which is why he's not further up in the list. But my honorable mention is FredEx.
Yeah, you're talking about the catch where Donovan McNabb ran like 900 yards around the field and threw against the Cowboys.
And the second one would be the one versus the Green Bay Packers when he caught the 4th and 26.
Yeah. Yeah. That went to his head, that's for sure.
100%. He never had a 1,000-yard season. Never had a 10 touchdown season.
Andy Reid couldn't pick fucking receivers for his life in his first part of his tenure as the Eagle. Like, if his life depended on it, he wouldn't be around. It was horrendous. Reggie Wayne and Chad Johnson were both available before FredEx that year. That's all I'm going to say about that. Reggie Wade and Chad Johnson.
Nah, bro, we got Freddie Mitchell. He thanked his hands.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Okay, who's your number 5?
My number 5 is Jason Babin.
I'm so glad you didn't say Jason Peters.
No. Jason Peters is a Hall of Famer. Babin is a true douchebag. I don't like him because he was one of these guys where he was like, he was in the Y9. He's, I think he was a Washburn guy, right?
Yep.
He's like, I'm getting my sacks. He was one of the biggest D's ever to play the sport. Even Andy Reid once said, I hate him. That's a literal quote. That's out of Andy Reid's mouth. He had no concern about anybody else on the team except padding his sack stats. He sucks. You belong on the Ben Simmons wall of shame. We're going to make that here.
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 5 is a cornerback. Got it signed for $47 million. Byron Maxwell.
Good one.
Byron Maxwell came here, and it's funny. You could throw Nnamdi on this list, but the difference between Byron and Nnamdi was Nnamdi stunk, but didn't run his mouth that he stunk. He was trying to get better, and he just stunk. He just kept getting burnt. Byron Maxwell got burnt and kept running his mouth.
Yeah.
He kept acting like he was way better than what he was, and eventually got traded to the Dolphins and stunk there. Byron Maxwell was the product of the best secondary ever with Richard Sherman, Cam Chancellor, and Earl Thomas. Came here to be a number 1 cornerback, got paid like a number 1 cornerback, and ran his mouth like he was something special. And it was a wash. He was terrible. So Byron Maxwell's my number 5.
That's the get a life sound. Yeah, I agree with that. And Nnamdi, I kind of felt he's not on my list. I don't know if he'll be on your list, but not Nnamdi. I felt like part of that was scheme going from zone to man.
No, going from man to zone.
Man to zone. That's what it was. Yeah, and he wasn't a douchebag. Like Maxwell was
a douche.
What's amazing is we were actually able to trade him.
Bro, I gave Howie all the credit in the world. That trade that they made to the Dolphins was
that helped them get up to get Wentz.
Yeah,
crazy. I don't know how the Eagles do that. They fleece some teams for stuff like you can go over like we should do that.
Just imagine like how good Howie is in the room. Like, who I really don't want to give up? Byron Maxwell. I can't give him up. Anybody else on the table?
But he takes advantage of like Mike Tannenbaum, who's not a great GM.
Yeah,
but hey, you got to know who's in the room with you, right? Got to give him credit there. So, yeah, that's a good one, man. Maxwell stinks, and he didn't catch on and do well in other places. So
No, stunk.
that was
All
it.
right, who's your number 4?
My number 4, got it written down here, is L.J. Smith.
Little John.
Yeah. What's frustrating about him is you looked at him and he had all this physical talent and he just was dropping shit. He just was a fuck up and he just couldn't put it together. And it was so goddamn frustrating because you thought that this guy could be better than he actually was. And he never, ever was. And he just, I couldn't put my finger on it. It's just frustrating. So I didn't like him because it frustrated the shit out of me just watching him play. He came in with a great deal of talent, right? And he never lived up to it.
You know what I most
Always
remember,
injured, too.
You know what I most remember L.J. Smith for?
What?
Eagles had just lost to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this NFC Championship game.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, L.J. Smith was a rookie on our team. The first drive of the game, the Eagles drove all the way down the field. They got stopped on 4th down and goal from the 3. They come out to kick a field goal. They ran the most perfect fake field goal. To the corner of the end zone, there was a pass thrown to Little John Smith and dropped it. And it was a touchdown pass on a fake field goal. Eagles end up losing that game like 15-0. It was terrible. But
Was LJ, what LJ stood for?
Little John.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Is that
Yeah.
unbelievable?
All right, my number 4 is a duo. Like, I put them together because I feel like they'll always be together in life. It's Todd Pinkston and James Thrash.
James Trash.
Trash and Pinkston.
Stinkston.
Thrash was our number 1 wide receiver. He was the number 4 over in Washington, and we paid him like number 1. It made no sense. And Todd Pinkston was a very similar receiver, like build to what who's a kid in Cincinnati, not Jamar Chase. Kid from Clemson.
T. Higgins?
T. Higgins. Very similar build of T. Higgins, just without the talent. And the one thing I'll always remember of Todd Pinkston was I lost it in the lights when Sean Taylor was about to knock his lights out on a pass. He just short-armed it, alligator-armed it. I lost it in the lights.
It was like, oh, shit, I'm not taking that hit.
Nope. He dropped that ball real quick. But the combination of that worst, and another thing about Pinkston and Thrash, I'll stop calling them by their last names. Do you remember the Carolina Panthers NFC Championship game?
Try not to.
Well, the Panthers had a plan, a strategy to go into that game and play press man coverage against our wide receivers and just push them on the line, and neither one of them could get off. Like, they couldn't get off the line at all. So that was the reason that we didn't make the Super Bowl versus the Panthers that year.
Yeah, Mark Shimano got run the fuck over, too.
So bad.
He's still on the ground. I couldn't even hate him. He didn't make my list, I could tell you. I just felt bad for him. I was like...
He was just bad.
Yeah. Nate Wayne. That was more linebackers the Eagles wanted to get from the fucking flea market. Hopefully that doesn't happen this year. But anyway, they should get... So I've been reading Jonathan Gannon's offense needs playmakers at linebackers, or defense. So they should be going after linebackers.
Let's go after Bobby Wagner.
You can get it. Why not? You can get him cheap enough?
You mean the Kobe Dean, man?
Yeah.
I want. So I've always wanted.
I mean, do you think Bobby gets a lot of money? He's playing in the league 8 years.
I think Bobby will get a lot of money for at least 1 year.
Gotcha.
I don't know what they're going to do. He might sign a 2-3 year deal.
Yeah, the draft is going to be really interesting. I think some gems can fall the Eagles' way because people reach for quarterbacks now. It's every year. It's
every quarterback that goes in the top 15. Thank the Lord.
Yeah, I think
another stud player is dropping to you.
All right, so in my mock draft,
Did you see McShay's most recent one?
No.
He had Derek Stingley Jr. falling to us in 15. Do you not realize how good Derek Stingley Jr. is? He's a cornerback from LSU. He's unbelievable. He was first projected to go 3rd overall to the Jets.
So in this situation, I really hope that the Eagles take the best player on the board and don't go by need.
Well, it depends.
Whoever that is.
The best player is an offensive tackle. I don't want
You know who I want, and I know it's not going to happen, but I'm really hoping Kyle Hamilton falls. Maybe he takes a hit or a bong hit like the night before, and he falls to 15.
Kyle Hamilton's a stud. He's generational safety.
I know that's why I want him, but it's not going to happen unless they move up.
No.
It's not going to happen. But I think that's a playmaker that on your defense day one.
Yeah. Who's your number 3?
So my number 3, pull up my trusty old list here, is Casey Matthews.
The bad Matthews brother?
Yeah, and the funny thing is everybody probably hated on him more than they should because they thought Matthews, okay, he should be like Clay. Not close. He's a second generational football player. He was okay, but funny story is the few Eagles games I go to, I was like, Matthews, you suck. Little did I know that his wife was sitting behind me. I felt so bad after that.
I mean, look,
I tried to talk it down. I was like, well, he's not that bad. He's not,
I have a rule. I have a rule with heckling. If you make over $5 million in a year, you need to be okay with heckling.
Well, he definitely didn't make it.
I don't really care, like, what sport you're. I don't care if you're a CEO of a company. I will heckle you in front of your company if you make over $5 million a year. I don't care. Like, if you make that much money, you need to understand how to put up with it. Like, I was like, we were talking about crying Westbrook last night.
Yeah,
crying
Westbrook. Oh, Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook?
Yeah.
How he's like saying, I'm not going to stand for people disparaging my last name. Shut up.
Get out of here.
Make $44 million.
People are becoming
you can call me Gene Ballsack for all you want for $44 million.
Yeah, people are becoming such like mental like neophytes. I just, listen, I understand, but what happened to ignoring people and what happened to like whatever, I'm out here playing. Like I don't know, man. I grew up around guys that used to get mad and then they would look at you as they drained a 3 on your team like, what? You like that? I'm going to do it again. Like
you like that.
Like Reggie Miller would do that all the time. Remember the Knicks, he would do that.
You like that.
I do like that. I thought that was funny when it's one of the best ones all time, but because he has no personality, Kirk Cousins, but he's like, you like that?
My number 3 is a player that currently plays for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Uh-oh.
First round draft pick. 21st overall. Jalen Reagor. And I think the issue I have most with Jalen Reagor is this. I don't care that he's a bad player. He didn't decide to get drafted here,
right.
How he drafted him. The issues I have with him is every time he makes a good play, he's tweeting it. He's retweeting his highlights, which I think is so awful to do. And he's in fans' DMs. Like, did you see that? Remember the conversation he had with the fan saying he was going to fight him? He's going to beat him up because they were talking about him, how bad he played versus Dallas.
Yep.
You can't be a first-round talent making money the way you make it and be that sensitive and then retweet all your highlights. Like, you want to retweet all your highlights so people are like, oh, you're great. And then when you play bad, no one can say nothing? Nah, bro. Sorry. Jalen Reagor's my 3. Who's your number 2?
So I want to say something to Jim Reagor. That's why it made me appreciate a guy like Joe Burrow so much about, you don't need to be letting everybody know what you do. Just go work hard. You know what I mean? And Jalen Reagor that's what's wrong with some athletes these days. Like, dude, just work hard. Like, don't worry. You have an opportunity. Cut out the noise and work at it. Work at it. But Ben Simmons didn't want to do. He's like Herb Young or Herb Brooks. No, I don't want to help my shot. Fuck you. Anyway.
Who's your number 2?
My number 2. So it's Kiko Alonso. And I dislike Kiko Alonso for a couple reasons. One, when they made that trade, I was confused by it. Shady was a good running back. Chip was now the new GM. I was like, okay, maybe they're trying to get better on defense. He made a really good interception in the first game. But, some people might say he only played 11 games as a tiny sample size. I say no. He called himself Nico the Male Mono. He grew to refer to himself, since he definitely looked the part of a warrior in uniform. He looked like it, but often tackled like a scary swimsuit model. That's right. Looked like one, but couldn't. He tackled for shit. And we traded him for Shady McCoy, who, by the way, is the all-time Eagles leading rusher. And I don't know if they would have won the Super Bowl, but it would have been nice to have Shady here. I'm just saying, Shady was a great runner. Great running back.
It's obviously a very bad trade. Shady didn't fit well with what Chip wanted to do, and my number 2 is Chip Kelly.
Very, very fitting.
And I have him as number 2 because he absolutely destroyed this franchise for a couple of years.
But did he help get it to the Super Bowl?
He might have. I don't thank him for that, for being awful at his job.
No.
Chip Kelly basically cut Deshaun Jackson, traded away Shady McCoy, didn't re-sign Jeremy Maclin. He signed DeMarco Murray to this big contract for terrible reasons.
He didn't
then traded him the next season.
And then ran him east-west. Like, he's a north-south running back.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Chip Kelly was the perfect definition of a person that never, ever, ever adjusted. He's like, this is my way. It's going to work. He never wanted to make himself better.
That's the problem.
He never tried to like really build himself up and learn from his mistakes or get better. Chip Kelly is my number 2, and it says a lot that the only non-player on this list is this high.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly, he's the college coach that was a god at a program before he came here, and he thought everybody should kiss the ring when he came, and that grown men were going to take his shit, that young men had to take his shit in college. And he's the prime example of it. I mean, the most recent example is Urban Meyer, right? And
yes,
and
100%.
And when you look at Chip Kelly, you're like, how? Like, it didn't make any football sense. He was so pompous about his scheme, and you have to be able to deal with these grown men with personalities in the NFL. And if you can't be a coach here. And that's the one time where fans were clamoring for him, and we got what we wanted, and it blew up in our fucking face. You know what I mean? It's he didn't adjust. Teams were getting wise to his offensive scheme, and you saw it happening as, his third year went on, and then the players turned on him, and it's just like, what were you thinking, man? Although Frank Gore did clear it up. He didn't not come to the Eagles because of Chip Kelly. He just wanted to play with Andre Johnson in Indianapolis that year.
Okay, I believe that.
So,
who's your number 1?
So my number 1 is Mike Mamula. And why do I pick him? Well, he was drafted. I believe he was the 6th pick in the first round. He was supposed to be a big-time defensive end from Boston College. And he just was ever so close to getting a sack. And he wasn't a horrible player. He had a 5-year career. He was okay. But he definitely wasn't a first-round talent. And it was just a long line during that part of the Eagles era that were just like, can we just get anything right? Can we get a pick right?
He was an awful player. I
awful.
can't believe that you're pretending he wasn't an awful player.
Well, he was okay. I mean,
he was an awful player.
He was awful. Yeah, it's been number 1 on my list.
Terrible.
I mean, he was a good backup.
I remember the 59 jersey still.
Yeah. By the way, if you wear a Mamula jersey and you still wear it,
Violation.
It's a violation. Burn it, and you need to wash yourself in bleach or something like that.
I've actually kept my Ben Simmons shirt.
Were you washing your car soon?
I think I'm gonna light it on fire. First game he plays back here.
I don't know if he ever is going to have the balls to play. I don't know if they should put a betting line out there. Will Ben Simmons ever play in Philadelphia?
He's gotta. They make it, especially if they play us in the playoffs.
I mean, basketball is, that's true. Oh man, if he's there in the playoffs and he can't escape, it's gonna be like a fucking steel cage match.
Oh my God.
It's good. That is the game I want to be there for. Oh my God, people are gonna be out there beating the fucking war drums. You have no idea. How about if JoJo gets the ball, slams it, and turns to the bench and goes to Ben like that? The place would erupt. You would think it would Stone Cold Steve Austin coming out at to jump in the match at the end of WrestleMania. I don't know, man. That would be amazing. But I don't think JoJo's going to do that.
My number 1, Stonehands himself. A first-round draft pick, number 25, out of the University of USC. Nelson Aguilar.
Wow, Nelson. I thought you might go Arcega-Whiteside, but
J-Shaw, once again, it's another situation of Howie making a bad draft pick,
right?
But him not being a douchebag, he still tries really hard. He's just not good. I hate Nelson because Nelson was a dick. And I don't care what you tell me. Nelson was the leak. He was the person that was leaking stuff out.
You think that?
100%.
Why do you think that? I'm just curious.
He had a Twitter handle, like a burner. I'm not sure about it. EFAM, which is his middle name, and he was constantly liking the Aguilar tweets. There's a whole thing on it if you really look it up.
Interesting.
But Nelson Aguilar is a crybaby. He sat out the rest of the season with a bruised knee for like 8 weeks because he didn't come back in the playoffs in 2019 when he could have. I can't stand Nelson Aguilar. Nelson Aguilar was such a waste of a player. He always talked shit when he scored, and always ran his mouth when people criticized him for not scoring, essentially. Nelson Aguilar had one good season in 2017. Other than that, he was a wash, and he ran his mouth so much. And
that's by accident. Keep going.
And it has one of the greatest sound bites ever in the history of the news.
I'm glad you brought that up. Mike, you should see if you can find that. But
guy in the news says, I caught those babies. I didn't drop any of them, unlike Aguilar.
Challenge for Mike here.
So it's news and a fire, and a guy caught the baby Aguilar. So you could just put like fire, baby, Aguilar.
All-time burn.
It's amazing. It's one of the funniest videos.
Only can happen in Philly. Like, that's one of those things where, like, that can only happen in Philly.
Like, he caught babies coming out of a burning building, and it's really funny.
Yeah. Yeah, it can only happen in Philly, and
that's definitely not it.
Yeah, Mike will find that. He found it, I could tell. Mike, close your Grindr account out. It's slowing the computer up.
That's it. That's it. He's got it.
There it is.
My man just started throwing babies out the window. We was catching them, unlike Aguilar.
Hakeem Laws went viral.
That was amazing. And you know what's funny about that? Knowing broadcasting, when they do that kind of story, they'll ask like 10 or 15 people about what's going on, and they'll have like people to choose from. Like I've been one of those people before. They're like, yeah, this clip's going on tonight.
My man was throwing them babies out the window, and we was catching them, unlike Aguilar.
Unbelievable.
Yo.
Unbelievable to me. I love that. I'll never forget that. And I was like, but he was a good sport about that though. Actually, remember he didn't. If that was Jalen Reagor, what would have happened?
Jalen Reagor would offer to fight him.
Yeah, like, I'm fighting you right now at Love Park. Show up right now. Love Park, me and you, 1601 Chestnut Street. Let's go. Yeah, so that's pretty much it for our top five. I think we did a good job there of most hated Eagles, in honor of Ben Simmons tonight. Do we got any counterfeit green?
Howie Roseman.
Because why?
Because they kept saying all offseason that he wasn't going to. Jalen's his guy.
Yeah.
And then tried to trade for Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
That's like me going to a party with a girl. I'm like, this is my girl. And then I see a hot girl. I'm like, yo, here's my number. Call me later.
Yeah.
Like, that's not, come on, bro. Stop.
My counterfeit green, it kind of ties into Ben Simmons, but it's starting to leak into all sports, is I can't play because of mental issues. Counterfeit green. If you have a mental issue, I respect it, and there have been people that have had mental issues, have handled it, have come back, Lane Johnson being the most recent example in my mind, and people have been very supportive of that person, and, they came back. You don't have to tell people your business, but when it's obvious that you're using it as, an escape hatch, that is counterfeit green, the definition of it. So, yeah, KMIA, Ben Simmons. Hope maybe is there a chance like everybody gets injured tonight and he has to play?
No.
And oh god, it can't happen during shoot-arounds. He would never. I knew he was never playing. You heard there's odds to.
Is there a chance that everyone gets injured tonight and he has to play? Not even during shoot-arounds. What, 7 of their guys are just gonna be shooting the basket and run into each other? Come on, Godfrey.
Maybe the floor guy can put a little bit more polish on the floor down on the net's end, and there's some slippage going on. I don't know.
After the first one slips and gets hurt, you think that would 6 more guys are gonna do the same thing?
Teamwork makes the dream work, Just fantasizing there. It won't happen. But there were odds on if he gets punched. I believe they said a punch was 10-1.
Oh God, I hope no. Please don't do anything stupid. If you're listening,
They were talking about a player. Talking about a player 10-1. I'm like, who's gonna do that? Then I don't think anything's gonna happen stupid. I think Philly is gonna be on their best behavior tonight, except they're gonna boo them, and they should. I think Philly fans are up to the task because people are trying to test them. They're poking the bear at the Philly fans, and I think the one thing I know about people in Philly, they know when someone's gaslighting them, and they're not going to be gaslit. I just don't think they will.
Only takes one idiot.
That is true. But with that being said, that's all we got for you. We'll see you in 2 weeks, Thursday night, 7 p.m. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. And this is Gene and the Godfrey saying, take it birds deep.